that discretion should be used having in mind equity, fairness, and not to use that discretion in a capricious manner. It is just unfortunate, and we are sending the notice that we are frustrated by the way he's running the House. And we are assuring him, if we don't see change in the way he conducts business in the House, definitely we will advise ourselves. We are just reminding him we have at least the minority. We have more than 1/3 of the House. And he knows the implication of what I mean, that we have at least more than 1/3 of the House. We don't think that in building our democracy, we were all craving and fighting to get a former MP to be a speaker, knowing that when that person comes, the space will even be broadened. Now we have a former speaker, a former member of parliament. He's closing the space and making the space so narrow that it is difficult for members from the minority to even have their say, which is the common thing that every minority can easily have. Just to have your say and lose your way. But you can't have your say, you can't have your way. That is something that is unbearable for us.
What would this advice you talk about? What would this advice be?
There are a number of options available to us. One of the options is to challenge his rulings. But we all know the implications on the one that leads the whole House. If we come under Order 93, and then you go, you challenge with a motion, it comes something in the records of the House. We don't want to dent the image of the one that leads all of us, because he symbolizes all of us. We don't want to see him as somebody from one side or the other. So we are just sending this notice. We may be forced to use that. Beyond that, there are other options available to us that obviously the minority can avail itself to.
But Honorable, this is not the first time you are raising such a concern. Have you sought audience with the Speaker, and what has been the reaction?
Let me tell you something. If the Speaker and my other colleagues will attest to this fact, just yesterday in the morning, because for those of you who are very observant, the day before yesterday, when we were doing the motion about the non-agency of the special prosecutor and then the Zongo Development Fund, I stood up, and if you notice, for a long time he refused to call me. What I wanted to say was that the process that we're using was wrong, because the Constitution very clearly, Article 106(13) says that it has to be done by a committee. But what they wanted us to do was to ask the House to whether agree or not. The Constitution didn't say the House to have to agree. It's the committee that has to decide that. So I wanted to draw his attention. When that failed, yesterday in the morning, I went for the conference very early, waited for him. When he came, I raised those things. I told Mr. Speaker, we are not happy the way things are going. Well, argued and ended it. And I thought that he would have taken clue. Mine was not the first. If you remember, there was the same kind of problem when Honorable Haruna Iduzu, the minority leader, stood up for almost 15 minutes and Speaker would not call him. We raised those objections with him in camera in his, holding room. How many times must we remind? And I remember in one instance, the majority leader, Honorable Che, had to lead the minority to talk to the Speaker about our unhappy the way he's handling the minority side. What else should we do? When we respect the chair, we come to speak to you in close sitting with you in your holding room and all that. And for the past 6 months, we are just being frustrated. And we've used all those avenues and it's failing. So we are left with no other option but to vent our anger on the floor. So you have to understand where we are coming from. And I'm telling you, just yesterday, I raised that issue with him. Just yesterday in the morning. In less than 24 hours, he's repeating the same thing. What else does he want us to do? He wants us to be seen as the bad boys in quote. No, we know what to do. But it's out of respect for the chair that we are not using those avenues. But if he pushes us, we have no option than to use those avenues available to us. All the avenues that are available to members of parliament, if the Speaker doesn't change, we will be mindful to use any of them to address. And I've just told you that if you look at our standard, there are so many avenues. And I'm saying that we will advise ourselves. And in advising ourselves,